How to fake it till you make it. Okay, so when I was in the ARL, I realized something a whole long while back. Back where it died, I had this off-screen battle with Kula Lush where I chose Todoroki, and this is literally how you know people are full of shit and why you don't want approval from people. You want approval from yourself. You want to surpass your own limits before you start talking to people so you can really talk shit. You want to impress yourself before you try to impress people. You can get all their praises from people, but if you don't impress yourself, it ain't nothing. And I'll put it like this. When I was in high school, before I get into the ARO, when I was in high school, there was this guy named Telly. Now, I was over at his sister's house, and literally, I couldn't tell a joke. I couldn't do shit. And literally, so Telly's all like, gig. If you don't know what gig means dance. He's like, that's one thing he can do. And literally, I started dancing and shit like that, and his sister was like, he be feeling himself. Do you want that to last forever? Do you want to be just a dancing fool with no vocabulary? Do you want to be just a fucking idiot that everybody can manipulate? That was literally my whole relationship throughout the whole high school. Oh, we love to see you dance, but we don't want you to be on that anime shit. Anime is boring. Why can't you do more of that MTV shit? They treated me like that the entire time. I know people who've had whole careers who get money off that shit that are still virgins. That suffer from that on the inside. I didn't have a single girlfriend because I watched anime, but we still love to see you dance. In high school, not the real world. And this ties into heavily because they always make sure there's something taken away from you, even though they give you appraisal. That's how you fake it till you make it. So here's what happened. When Joey took my bars, back when I was in the hyperbolic time chamber, back when I was at the group home, I was typing them in the library. And literally, so Joey came at me like this, and he stole my bars because I kept on editing them, so I left the rough draft of my bars on the floor, and so he picked it up as soon as I left the library because I already had the finalized bars. I changed my flow, I did everything right, but he stole my bars. It didn't matter. So he's like, do you want a battle? I'm like, no. He's like, not at all? I'm like, no. You think I'm oblivious to the fact that you stole my bars? And Bush gave me a hint that they stole my bars because he had guilt, saying that I had this bar that I was representing Super Saiyan Blue from Sonic the Hedgehog, and Bush typed it in the chat, and I called it out, and he's like, Weenie, those aren't your real bars. Literally, that reverse psychology shit will never work on me. And I called it out every time. Reverse psychology never worked on me. Oh, you had all these girls on you at the dance, but I didn't have a single girlfriend in school. What's a one-time cameo to your actual consistency? That doesn't mean shit. But check it. How you fake it till you make it. Here's how you make it in their way. What happened was this. Joey uploaded what he had on SoundCloud, and it was pretty good, actually. The voices God is in my head through sarcasm is telling me, you see, Joey gave you a good performance. You should have done it anyway, because what happened was this. There was a time where he literally rebelled all my shit, but he dragged on for too long, and I have 4 minutes of straight fire. Joey's verse was 11 minutes, and it was punchline after punchline after punchline. I'm like, you were able to make 11 minutes of punchlines for hit? That shit was crazy. But at the time, I was mad, but now I realize my bars are better, and now I realize that battle where it gave me a lot of perspective, which is what you need to survive in this world. What you need is a good analytical battle that people can make debates on, but they don't know the full story of. Literally, I had punchline after punchline after haymaker. He let his shit drag on for 11 minutes, and I could have won in the comments because that's how complex the battle was. But because he stole my bars, I didn't battle, and literally, God's in my head. Oh, you should have done it anyway. And literally, you think God's full of shit, but no, I already backed out of the battle. And then he told me that as perspective, this is how they work. This is how they get famous. They took something away from you. They didn't tell the full story, but they still gave you a good battle to work on, right? No, that's not how it works. When you respect yourself more than you respect the fame, that is what gets you farther in life. He stole my bars. It doesn't matter if he gave me a whole room of perspective that they could have uploaded on the channel. They still took something away from me, and they literally made it pretty possibly clear that I could have lost. And literally, he's like, oh, you could have had a good battle. Who would have made you look good? Yeah, but Joey still would have won, and I still would have had the same reputation on the inside, even though the fan base will like me better. Oh, Riz finally changed his flow. Or Riz finally had complex bars. But, you know, it didn't fucking matter because that would have made me mid-tier for sure because of literally how complex my verse was. But it wasn't worth it because they ignored the fact that I was better than them in real life. They ignored the fact that I was actually getting girls and they weren't in real life. They're talking to anime fans through a fucking computer and they're thinking that they're harder than me, and they resorted to stealing my bars in person. All that perspective, but the outsiders know that. The people in the comments were praising me, right? No, that's not how it works. And how I know this is how shit works is this is the second time. So here's what happens. So after I get off of Fanime, I start talking to Kula Loose. I'm like, do you want to have a practice battle? You know, and so literally, so I chose Todoroki, and Black and Chaos had this bar where he referenced Broly saying that Bio Broly got beamed by a water, by an ocean of water. And so he flipped it saying that Todoroki got his face burnt by a tea kettle of water. I'm like, oh my god, he would have flamed me already. And it was literally just the beginning of his verse, and literally, so I backed out, and then I'm like, yo, I want to do the battle again. So literally, I pulled the most pussy shit. And so that's when God got in my head. He's like, you see, this is what Sabo did with you. You see how hard you analyzed him? You backed out after you realized he was coming hard, but then you came back, and once you guys established that you were friends, because me and Cool talked a lot off screen. A lot off screen. We were literally best friends. And so literally, I gained his trust. And so literally, I saw how hard he was coming, and that's what made me get the victory. Just like Sabo. He's like, you got to do the same thing as Sabo. God's in my head. You saw how hard he was coming. So you literally prepared for how hard he was coming, even though you weren't prepared before, but you cheated, making him confess his bars in order for you to get the edge. That's what you have to do to win in this world. I did the same thing that Joey did, but I did it in a more obvious way, in a more manipulative way, because I was already cool with the person. I didn't earn that victory, but I sure as hell manipulated the situation to make sure I got that victory, right? That's how you fake it till you make it. You don't want to live like that forever. You don't want to have the full story be leaking out in your personal life. You have everyone to praise you. That's going to make you feel very insecure inside, and they're going to take that insecurity and use it against you to control you. Do not fake it till you make it. Work hard for results. Literally, freestyle every day if you want to be a rapper. Dance every day if you want to be a good dancer. Do everything you want consistently until you actually master your trait. Do not make excuses for yourself, and do not try to manipulate the other person and try to win. It's like, hey, do you want to hang out so I can see how you fight, so I can see how you do this and that? So I have the edge instead of actually facing my problem head on when we both have the same cards? I added some extra cards after I knew you had some strong cards, right? That's how you fake it till you make it. You ignore the full story and you literally give a whole room of perspective. It's a very complex situation for the audience, but for you it's not complex. You cheated, flat out, plain and simple. But for the audience, it's very complex. On the outside it's everything, but on the inside it's nothing.